Hello. Welcome to the Gig Economy Podcast, episode 204. Why did we skip one? Well, because we released an episode today with Jonathan Rigsby, the author of Thrive, Scraping by in Uber's America. That's what I think it is. I think I got it. So yeah, we skipped. That's episode 203. Check that out. It's kind of a bonus episode. It got released for our Patreon supporters first, and then y'all got it today. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for joining the show. GigEconomyShow.com for everything Gig Economy podcast related. I'd like to thank our Patreon members: Samson from Grand Rapids, Bud from North Carolina, Omar from Detroit, Delivery Cast from Michigan, Jamie from Tennessee, Frank from Philly, Tom from Chicago, Jim from Connecticut, Tom from Houston, Miguel from GR. Thank you guys so much. If you want to join the Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/the Gig Econ podcast. The $10 tier gets you an extra podcast a month, a t-shirt. You get the interviews first, and you get pre-show banner and ad-free episodes. As you have listened recently, we do have a few ads that are playing. Once you stream enough and get enough downloads, Buzzsprout reaches out to you, says, "Hey, you want to play some ads?" And
there you
they
go.
give us a little money, but every little bit helps, right, Larry?
Yes, it does indeed.
Then we have this amazing Telegram group that Larry loves talking about.
Yes, our Telegram group, it's a chat group. You can do text type chat or you can do voice chat. So it makes it easy if you're driving, you can talk instead of trying to text. We have a lot of gig workers from all around the country, all around the world. We get on there and just talk about gig work, talk about our gripes, and we vent a little bit. And we talk about our successes and just kind of share life together.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk about the picnic. I wrote myself a note. It's amazing when you write notes, you freaking remember shit.
That's like wild, isn't it?
That's what the old men do. So the
That
picnic is
correct.
September 14th. I think we're going to do from 2 to 4. We're going to have some food, some giveaways, just good time to get together with other gig workers, celebrate being together and the podcast. And it's just a really great time. And I think this will be the 5th.
Hold on, I'm trying to remember. 1, 2, 3. I think it's the 6th.
The 6th. Okay. 5th or 6th.
I'll find out for next week for sure.
Okay, good.
I'll clarify. I will clarify. Let me write a note.
Yeah, write a note because you'll forget. So yeah, check it out. Obviously, everything's free to come hang out and the food and stuff. I mean,
yeah, it's a great time, and it's good to see people that you talk to in the Telegram group. Or we look forward to seeing everybody every year, and we love seeing new faces. So yeah, try to make it
for sure. Stories from the road. So typically I don't have stories from the road, and I talked about, I think last episode, I almost hit a deer, and I'm like, whatever, it's fine. But I do make a squeak out of my mouth when I'm driving, and apparently that tickled Miguel, who made a ringtone out of it. So we'll play that. I'll play it twice just because it's only 12 seconds, just in case you miss it the first time. But here we go.
So what the penalty should be on this case? When it comes to female teachers and young boys.
You gotta love that. One more time.
What the penalty should be on this case? When it comes to female teachers and young boys.
Yeah, it was a little Bambi, and I was just like, ooh, like I didn't have. You don't really hear the car stop, but I definitely did apply the brakes, but it didn't. Obviously, I didn't have to slam on it enough to where it's like, I'm on a dirt road too.
Oh yeah, you could get a little squirrely there if you slammed on the brakes.
Yeah. So Bambi lived. I don't know where Mama was, but
she was close by, probably.
She was close by, unless someone else hit her earlier, but I didn't see her. So, how about you, Larry? It looks like you had a long trip.
Yeah, so Thursday night, it's probably, I don't know, maybe 10 o'clock. I was downtown Bowling Green and got a trip that said it was 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I'm like, all right, man, this is gonna be a good paying trip. That'd pay me $200 easy. So said to pick up near Hilligan's, which is a local college bar, and drive down there. And sometimes you just get a weird feeling. And I didn't see the little blue icon that shows the passenger. So I'm like, okay, get down there, and passenger sent me a text, said, hey, we'll be out in a minute. I'm like, okay, no problem. And a couple minutes go by, and they send me another text. Where are you? We can't see you. So I'm like, I'm parked right in front of Hilligan's with my flashers on. I'm like, are
Right.
you at Hilligan's? No answer. I'm like, I'm right here because I don't want to lose this trip because it's going to be really good money. So I'm trying extra hard. And then they send like some response that made no sense, did not pertain to our conversation whatsoever. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to call them. So call, and this girl answers, and she's pretty drunk herself, but her friend is apparently much more drunk because she is screaming at her. She's like, Diane, gosh damn it, get up off the floor. Our Uber's here. I can't believe you talked me into this shit anyway. Get up. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to take these people anyway. This is not going to go good. So anyway, I'm like, are you at Hilligan? So like for 2 minutes, I don't know if she had laid her phone down and I could just hear her screaming because she's not talking to me and she's like not hearing anything I have to say. Finally, the phone, I think the phone actually eventually went dead. So I'm like, I'm gonna give him one more shot. I'm like, where are you? I type in there and she's like, we're at the Revolver. I'm like, okay, Bowling Green does not have a bar named the Revolver. So I'm like,
no.
Are you in Bowling Green? She's like, no, we're in Cookeville, Tennessee, which is 2 hours and 15 minutes away from Bowling Green.
Oh.
So they were probably doing like a 10, 15-minute ride home from the bar, but I don't know how in their drunken state they picked Bowling Green. I'm sure they auto-filled something. You know how it does when you're starting to type something in, and she just hit it. Because like I said, she was pretty trash herself, and apparently her friend was not even trying to get up off the ground. So I'm like, you know what? There was probably like a 95% chance one of them was going to puke in the car. So I'm good.
I'm surprised you still continued to like even communicate after the drunk screaming. I've been
kind of wanted to know what the story was, so I'd have something for the show. I'm dedicated, man. I have to get stories for the show. So I'm like, normally I would just drive off, but I'm gonna get the whole story here.
I love that you would have taken that trip for the show. I mean, obviously you would have got paid on it too, but like you're 95% sure they would have puked in there.
They were pretty trash, yeah, for sure.
Oh man, yeah, I've had those phone calls. Like I hate calling because like when they can't even have a conversation on the phone, you're like, oh man.
Oh yeah. A lot of times it's like, okay, if you can't talk to me coherently on the phone, I'm not coming to get you.
Yeah.
You got to at least be able to have a somewhat intelligent conversation with me and tell me where you're at and what the situation is. But
I mean, if everyone's like relatively sober, like I prefer texting. Like that guy that got mad at me and hit my car, he was mad that I didn't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't need to talk to you. Like I texted you, I told you where I was.
Right.
It's not like it's going to be like some super profitable trip. But I agree with you. Or maybe I'm just saying I would call too if it was a good money trip. Like I remember back when the multiplier was huge. I'm like, I'll do whatever I.
Oh yeah, whatever it takes to keep this trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been late night for me because it was already, like I said, 10. It would have been 2:30 or so before I got home at least. But it would have been probably a little over $200. Trip, and I'm like, that would have been a good night.
Yeah, that would have been good. You would have been done for sure after that.
Alas, it was not to be.
No, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, I texted him like, sorry, I'm in Bowling Green, you're in Cookeville. I can't help you.
So interesting. Why did it say it was a 2-hour trip? Because it was going to be
because I don't know. I don't know where they were going or
right. Because was it 2 hours because it's going to take you 2 hours to get them? Like, why you even
Uber doesn't include that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I was trying to figure out what the story was, where they were going, what the whole deal was. So maybe they were coming back to Bowling. I don't know, but anyway, I'm not.
Oh yeah, that's why I wonder if they were coming back to Bowling Green.
Either way, I'm not driving 2 hours. Those girls will be long passed out before I ever got there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'll take somebody a long way, but I'm not going that far to go get somebody.
Yeah, they're probably already starting to sober up by the time you'd pick them up. So
yeah.
Seriously,
yeah, Pete's got a multiplier for you.
Yeah. Did you sign up for Uber? Did you submit your stuff?
Have you driven?
Is this the update that we've been waiting for? Hey, Tom. Hey, dudes. Hawk Tua. Are we still doing that? Isn't that done yet? Like, haven't we moved on something else?
No, she's going to have her own show or something, I'm sure.
Oh, my gosh.
Happened down in Nash Vegas.
Oh, I got to get the inspection. Hey, I got a guy that'll do it remotely.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend them. I
Yeah,
use
Larry
them.
did it. Use it.
Yeah,
I
after
used
my
them.
wreck and I got my new car, I called them and
What
or
was the name
scheduled it
of
with them.
what was the name of it? Wasn't it like RMT? Wasn't it like
Um,
was it? Okay, now I gotta find it. It's
yeah,
I bet it's in my inspection. Oh, it's RMI inspection.
RMI, yeah, that's it. But
Let's
they did
see.
a great job. Yeah, they
Yeah.
set up a time and you just go out, walk around with your phone. They're like, okay, let's look at your rear tires, let's look at your flashers and your brake lights, and
I gotta hit
everything's
them up
good.
again.
Yeah,
See if they want. Let's see. All right, I got the link, Pete. Here you go.
no excuse
Uh,
now, Pete.
there you go. Get your inspection done. Here it comes.
Get her
That's what she
done.
said. Ah, Miguel's got it. RMI. Yep, RMI
RMI.
inspection. So,
Yeah,
well, that is an interesting story. I'm very glad that you did not take them
yeah,
because
yeah.
that would have been a disaster.
Yeah, and like I said, the first one was sounded like she was a very angry drunk,
She
and
may have
yes,
just been fucking pissed at her homegirl was like passed out on the ground. Like, listen,
well,
bitch, our Uber's here. Let's go.
she obviously was, but I think she was pretty drunk as
Drunk
well.
too.
Yeah, but
Oh, alcohol. What a interesting thing it is. Let's see.
well, just events of this world will make you drink,
Yeah.
drive you to
So before
drink.
we jump in the ads, Gabe, our other host, is fucking messaged me in Telegram like, bitch, why aren't you online commenting? Seriously, like my
What is
phone just
going
went
on?
off. Jeez. All right. Tip you. No, that's next. Matt from 616 Locksmith does a fantastic job. You can give him a call at 616-914-3487. Call or text. You can check out the links in the description too to get a hold of him of his Facebook page and his Google page. But he is a locksmith. He can get you into your home, into your car. He can rekey your home. He can rekey your car. He can reprogram your car. He can get you a fob. You can do it all. It's really cool. A lot of that stuff for keys has become mobile. You don't really need to like drive into the dealership and stuff like that. So very affordable. Helped me out with my daughter's car. Well, my old Pilot. I had a key
The
that
old pilot.
kind of went bad on me, and so I had him give me a new key and programmed it and did great. So check him out. He does a really great job. And then of course, tip you in the app. Levi does a great job on his. Check out his YouTube channel. Please subscribe to it. It's important for he's mostly I don't even know if he has an audio podcast, but it's important for those guys to get subscribers. I mean, it's worth the sub too. I mean, he has great content.
He does, yeah.
And I don't listen to his long form stuff, but a lot of his short stuff or no, not reels. What are they? Oh, they're called shorts.
Yeah, shorts.
On there. Check them out. So tip you in the app on YouTube.
Yeah, he does a great job.
All right. So the title, is it cool if I deliver in a speedo?
All right. Yeah, we'll bring this up here. Oh,
oops, sorry. That's right.
Go.
You're doing it, aren't you? So the Amazon drivers in Sacramento today are struggling with the heat, and this a guy and like, so first of all, what's really strange is he's got the vest on, right?
Yeah.
And then what I really did notice, so I just looked now, I mean, he's got no ass, by the way. He needs to really work on them glutes because that is a flat ass. But he also has these like sleeve things on.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe compression sleeves, maybe.
It's the strangest outfit.
It's definitely will catch your attention.
One thing I don't understand, you can take that off.
Yeah.
One thing I don't understand.
That's what he
said. She said, or he said, depending on how you swing. People complain about the heat, right? Now, if you're especially if you're a flexer, if you're a DSP, you're out there all day. You're in the air conditioning like most of the time. Every time you get out, you're out for like, I would say I'm probably average out for about 20 seconds, unless I have to like dig for my package. So why are these people complaining about, oh, it's the sweltering heat? I guess I just don't understand that because you're in your car most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. People just like to complain.
Yeah, that's true. If it's cold, I'm bitching about that.
Yeah.
So,
we're never happy.
Yeah, that guy in the speedo, I don't think I would do that. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Like we're not showing it. It's just funny.
Yeah. It's just, you're like, huh? Not something you see every day.
No, not something you see every day. Everyone's got a thing. So if as long as he's delivering and having a good day, I don't give a shit.
There you go. More power to him.
We're going to talk about a little bit about the Minnesota rideshare companies. I thought that was an interesting article.
Yeah.
In regards to like kind of the things they're doing and what separates the two that have kind of survived since that whole thing.
Yeah, we talked about Minnesota every week there for a couple months because it was the it was the big story. Are they leaving? Are
Right.
they not leaving? But anyway, so this article kind of is about checking in with the two rideshare groups that actually did launch, even
Yeah.
though Uber and Lyft decided to stay there. And so the only two that are there is one that's based out of St. Paul, is a startup from St. Paul called My Wheels, and then another one that's out of Austin called Rides, WRIDZ, and they're in about 22 different markets, I think. So,
Yeah.
they've got a little experience behind them. So, both these companies there were several companies that said they were going to start up if Uber and Lyft did leave, but these two people decided to go ahead and crank up, even though Uber and Lyft decided to stay. And I think at least with Rides, they had planned on, they said in the article, they're like, we pretty well assumed they were going to stay. Uber and
Yeah.
Lyft were going to stay. So they planned for that, and they kind of have a little bit different focus. They kind of focus more on people who don't have vehicles for one reason or another. It says My Wheels is the only true Minnesota startup rideshare company. So they saw, a big uptick in app downloads and driver applications when it was uncertain what was going to happen, but they didn't have a really big growth that they might have had if Uber and Lyft had left the city.
Yeah.
But they said they did prepare, if Uber would stay, and they're pretty confident that they're going to find their own niche in the market and continue to be profitable or continue to be able to do business anyway.
Yeah. That was the My Wheels we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like I said, Rides has a little bit different focus. They kind of focus on people who don't have or Rides is the one that kind of differentiates itself because they have the subscription model.
Yeah. $100 a month.
Exactly, $100 a month to have the app, and then you get to keep all the money for the rides. So it would be an interesting model if there's enough business and you can do enough. And they're also kind of focused on drivers who do this well, because you can build up a clientele. They can have favorite drivers and get repeat
Yes.
requests from those people, which is something we wish they would do with Uber and Lyft.
The one thing I wonder about the subscription model, as I read that article yesterday, is that's great and all. I think 100 is fair, but how are they going to sustain their business with, I mean, wouldn't you have to have like so many more drivers than riders just to sit? I mean, because you got insurance, you got to maintain the app. I mean, you got marketing and stuff like that. I mean, maybe they have like maybe Uber has too many people on board and they don't need us. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
can run it without so much
Sure.
overhead, but
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't think about, and they have to have some infrastructure in the background to run all this stuff.
well, yeah, I mean, because $100 a month is not going to go far. I mean, yeah, if you have a lot of drivers, but
Yeah.
then if you keep trying to recruit drivers so you have more cash flow, then there's not as many riders. So I don't know. And maybe they're thinking, well, most of these drivers are super part-time, so they pay the
Mhm.
$100, and so like we're kind of making out on the other end, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they reach some kind of like equilibrium where
Yeah.
it kind of works itself out, where there's enough drivers to justify the $100 a month for the drivers that do choose to pay it.
Maybe you know this too, and I don't know.
Mhm.
Is the insurance per trip with Uber? Like, remember it was like James River. I don't know who
Mhm.
the fuck they use now, but so it's like if I don't drive, is Uber paying for me to
Oh, for insurance for
for
you?
insurance? Yeah, or is it per ride? Like the second this ride starts, like
I would
that's the
think I would think it'd have to be per ride because
yeah.
there's so many people that do it
Well, that's
part-time
what
that
I'm saying. Like now
yeah,
that I think about it, maybe that's what Rides is doing too. It like it
it
doesn't
could
cost
be.
them anything until
Right. Yeah.
they
There's
use
no
it.
skin off their nose if you're not driving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
per ride. So I guess
Yeah.
that makes sense. Now that I think about it, it's kind of a dumb question. Like they got 100,000 drivers. Are are they funding the insurance? Or
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was just a blanket policy where like it covers 100,000 drivers, and
Yeah.
then then
I
it's
don't
fine.
know. Yeah, that'd be
So,
interesting to find out.
looks like it's per ride from some of the crew in there. So
Yeah.
Miguel says 500 drivers is 50K. Well, still 50K doesn't go very far if you're running a business, especially 22 markets. But
yeah, that's true. I mean, it doesn't go it doesn't go real far.
I mean, is he taking a salary?
And then they also talk about there's a rideshare co-op that's in the Minnesota or Minneapolis area, and they're hoping to create another rideshare company as well, but they're still kind of in the planning
That
phases.
co-op.
Yeah,
I did. Honestly, I read co-op. I didn't read the rest of it because I'm just like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of those that I'll believe it kind of when I see it, but until then, I don't think it's going to get off the ground.
No, I mean, you're dealing with so much red tape, and everyone's jaded from what Uber did, like in regards to like the government. So they're on top of it now. They're not going to dick around with you trying to like slip a fast one or something like that. So
for sure.
Yeah. Traveler says, check your statement. They're ripping us off. Well, yeah, I know that. I don't have to check it because I ain't fucking doing it. I've maybe done like 5 rides this summer so far. So as long as Amazon is fulfilling my need, I'm going to stay away from Uber. Speaking of that, my fucking trip, or when did I go? What day is it? Wednesday, Monday. I went Monday, 51 miles to my first stop. 51 miles on my route. And then
my goodness.
55 on the way back. So I was like over 100 miles round trip just to get, and the route was really tight, but still I'm like, oh
yeah,
that was a hike.
That's a couple miles.
Turn my Super Cruise on, just listen to podcasts, just kick back, let the car
go
drive for me.
There you go.
Moving on, I saw a lot of this. $3 is a slap in the face. Rideshare drivers are quitting Uber to low earnings. So when you watch this video, you'll see some old ass B footage in this thing. And it made me think that this wasn't a new video. I'm like, y'all will catch it in the group because y'all are professional gig workers. You've been around for a while. But I mean, the common folk that watch that didn't pick up on it. So that's why they did. I'm like, y'all use so much old B footage in this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So funny. So
here we go.
All right.
Drivers across the country say they recently quit working for Uber because of declining earnings.
Action News Jack's Nicholas Brooks caught a ride with one Uber driver who says his earnings dropped nearly in half this year.
Some Uber drivers are hanging up their keys. It's because they're facing major pay cuts that they say make it impossible for them to support themselves. When an Uber driver picks up a passenger, they take on all the risks, from the maintenance of their vehicle to their safety. But one driver says it's not worth it if their earnings keep decreasing. According to coworker.org, Uber has cut drivers' mileage rates from 99 cents per mile to 68 cents per mile.
That's not cutting it for us. I mean, we risk our lives out here to get the people home safely or to work safely. So I don't understand why Uber is cutting into our earnings like that.
Larry Johnson has been a 5-star driver for Uber in Jacksonville for 9 years. He never thought the driver's earnings would be cut in half.
When I first started out, it was 80% I was getting. Now, it's under 50%.
Johnson says he noticed a change in his earnings when a customer paid $37 for his normal route at the Jacksonville airport, and he only got 40% of that.
And then when I get to the airport and close that customer out, I only get $15 of it. I have a problem with that.
He took this issue to the Uber support team. In their conversation, Uber acknowledged Johnson is one of the top-rated drivers in the city, but to resolve his concerns, they offered him an extra $3 and 10 Uber loyalty points.
$3, that's a slap in the face. That's a gallon, that's not even a gallon of gas.
Local Uber customers we spoke with are behind the drivers getting paid more of their fares.
I think if they're doing the work, that they need to be getting paid for what they do.
They need to make more of the money. I mean, they make like 80, the company makes 80%, they only make 20. They need to at least be 50-50 or better. I mean, they're taking all the risks there.
Action News reached out to Uber to answer our questions, but we haven't received a response at this time. For look coverage you can count on, I'm Nicholas Brooks, Action News Jack.
All right.
Yeah, at one point, the phone, first of all, it was like an iPhone 3, and it had lift on it. It didn't even have Uber on it. And then it like one of the Uber screenshot was like, go off duty or something. It was
Oh
such
yeah,
an
so
old-ass
old.
phone.
Yeah. And then one of the shots with the phone, it just had like the phone screen. It didn't even have an app.
Yeah,
showing.
no, it was kind of cool to see that older stuff. Even seeing an old iPhone, you know, with the little push button, home button. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know why that story on Reddit, I kept seeing it pop up, and then I watched it. I'm like, okay, yeah, we know this. But it's nothing breaking. I don't know why it got a little bit of traction, but
Yeah, I'm not sure because I mean it's been happening for for several years now. Rates just going down, down, down.
Well, him generalizing, or at least the news place generalizing, like it was 98 and then it's 63. That doesn't. I mean, where are you getting those numbers? Like that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, they act like the rate's the same all over the country.
Well, I mean, you're an exception, and like Gabe too. You are actually getting a per mile per minute rate.
I've heard that's getting cut. I keep seeing stories about that getting cut
for you guys.
For people who are not doing the upfront pricing, that cuts are coming for the per mile and per minute.
Where are you hearing that?
I've seen that on some of the Facebook groups.
Ooh, that will not be good.
No, I will not be a happy camper.
No, you might have to slum it with the rest of us.
Oh, food delivery. Oh man,
food delivery, package delivery. Like shit.
Oh my gosh,
that would be gross. But as I said, the guy, I feel his frustration, but like you got a multi-app. Like I see all these people complaining, like I can't make it in Uber. I'm like, I actually don't comment anymore because like,
it's
no, I don't like anything else. I just like Uber. I'm like, well, you're fucked. Then sir, you're fucked.
Yep.
People talking about like, oh, I'm barely like I'm living in my car. I'm like, are you multi-apping? I'm not saying that's gonna change your life, but you will when it's
you make more money.
Yeah, if it's slowing somewhere else, fuck Uber. Go do something else. Like you don't owe them anything. Yeah, go where the money's at. So
exactly.
Trevor, welcome to the jungle.
Okay, so our next story. This is I think this is Jason when he was trying to get away from the deer.
A few blocks away from each other up at the Baird Center here in Milwaukee, and we'll see you in person in just a bit. But I think that this message tonight is the one that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Amazon driver driving on the side. It looked like it's either a wide sidewalk or a greenway or something.
Well, God, I love the comments. So like someone wrote Prime Day ain't no joke. Eggo posted like the actual Eggo company. Prime Day started today. Well, it says ETA right now.
Really?
And some people said, to be fair, that's a huge sidewalk. It is a huge sidewalk, but do you see any fucking signs on there? Like,
yeah, it's not for motorized vehicles, I guarantee.
Oh my God, man, Amazon drivers be ratchet, man. Like
they are.
Fuck.
Yeah, you wonder what is what caused him. I mean, why? What was the reasoning behind that? What caused him to drive?
I think he just turned down it and didn't even realize
it, paying attention,
or he realized it and was hauling ass to get to the end of it. I'm like, ooh, man.
Yeah, because he didn't want to drive through the grass to come back.
I guess, or something.
I think I would have driven through the grass, but that stuff does happen. Stuff does happen. I walked out today from work and grabbed the handle and like, this is not my car.
Really?
I did. It was very similar color to my car, but there's only like, we have a little parking area. There's like 8 cars.
Wow, that's saying something. With only 8 cars.
I'm like, oh my, then you look around. Did anybody see me? Did anybody see? They think I'm breaking in their car?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Thank goodness I don't think anybody else saw it.
No, that's good. Didn't want to be embarrassed. So
no.
Moving on, I think we may have talked about this before, but this is Uber Task, and this is a little bit more detailed on this. It's like we're trying something new, and I've unlocked a new way to earn on Uber from furniture assembly, lawn care, packing, and more. If you guys have seen this on your app, because it just pops up on the app, but basically you can opt into the tasks that interest you, like furniture assembly, required tools, furniture assembly, laundry,
oh, there you go,
packing and unpacking, yard cleanup, all that stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if I would do any of that. Furniture assembly, so on and so forth. I don't know.
It all depends on the price, you know. It all depends
I
on how much
guess,
they're gonna offer, you know.
Yeah, that's true. But if it's Uber,
Yeah, it's probably not gonna be great unless they,
right.
you know, how they do sometimes when they do something new, they'll pay real well for a little bit
It's
to
true.
entice people. So yeah, I
That's
might put together
true.
somebody's IKEA furniture for them.
Yeah. Oh, I hate putting that shit together. It's just so time consuming. I bought Megan for I don't know if it was Christmas. I think it was for Christmas. This huge, think of it like it holds like a lot of house plants, and it's a big circle, right? And then it has shelves that go across.
Yeah.
So the circle has two things. So think of it as like two circles that go in the same direction.
Okay.
I could not figure out how to put that shit. Like the instructions were so bad. It took me 3 hours to finally figure out where, because like you had to line them up a certain. It was a fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah, sometimes it is. You know, sometimes the instructions are bad, or you know, they don't have the English instructions in there. They got Japanese instructions or something. And
it's usually English, but it's been converted.
yeah,
You know, like it's like why are you guys using technology that doesn't convert it correctly? Like we're in 2024, right? Like you should be able to like translate it correctly.
you would think so.
Miguel's like $5 an hour, Uber keeps 15. See, that's the thing. Like when you're driving around, if Uber, you know, you don't make as much. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but at least you're not doing any manual labor. Like you're drinking soda and listening to tunes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to deal with some riffraff, but I guess doing manual labor and you got $5 an hour, I'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely terrible.
Not good. Not good.
Real quick, ad for Octopus tablet. You heard us talk about it. If you're in this group and you are a rideshare driver, I'm not sure why you aren't fucking getting this Octopus tablet. You can get a tablet for free, the charger, the case, all that easy peasy, goes in the back of your headrest. You can play trivia, photo hunt. I just got an email from them.
Me too. Yeah, about their update.
What did it say?
So they're gonna have the redesigned screen. It's gonna have more or a different design to show the driver details, and then
this is when the Uber stuff comes in.
Exactly. And then the weather screens. It kind of looks like the Weather Channel's website kind of on there. I think that's the main ones that I saw.
Yeah, your driver profile looks a little bit
a little different.
Up a little bit more. Yeah, so check that out. The link is in the description. Again, you make if you're a full-time driver, like 40 hours a week, you make an extra $100. I mean, tank and a half of gas. I mean, it's better than nothing, and you get more tips, right?
Exactly. Passengers love it.
Yep.
All right,
Larry. Oh,
yeah. This next story, we've all, if you've done any kind of delivery, food delivery or package delivery, you've dealt with dogs. You know, that's just part of it. It's part of the routine. So this video is about this guy and the vicious dog that he encountered, and the complaint he was talking about for having to deal with this vicious
dog. So be prepared, guys. Just if you have sensitive eyes, just
this could be trigger warning.
This is a very vicious dog. So
see, this right here why I stopped doing Instacart, man. I gotta drop your groceries off, and you got your damn dog out in the front yard. God, man. Look at this shit.
So the best, again, comments. People, I don't realize how fucking funny people are.
Yes.
Like, so the number one comment is being scared of a golden retriever is crazy. The second comment should be number one. He's like, hurry up with my food, cuz.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the people listening to the audio version of the podcast, it was a golden retriever standing on the other side of the fence, just looking at this guy. It was not, not vicious. Everybody knows how golden retrievers are. They're just so friendly. And he was kind of looking at him. He's like, hey, what's up?
Yep. And then someone said, in his defense, you pulled up to his crib with his food. Everyone's giving him shit, and he's like, all dogs bite, which is true. I mean, you never know when a dog
turn into
bite.
Cujo.
I've never come across an aggressive golden, but
I haven't either, but I'm sure they exist.
They are like God's dogs. Like they're just so chill. They're so and I remember when we had a golden. He passed a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we did too.
When the kids were younger, they would beat the shit out of him. Like when they were babies, they'd be slapping him in the face. I'm like, I didn't even bat an eye. Now, my pity,
Oh, different story.
He's a lover. He is, but if you roughhouse with him, he's strong. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah, might not be a good idea because he might roughhouse back.
Yeah, but that golden was just like, it's okay, just hit me again.
Yeah, I'll just lay here, take it.
All right, moving on. So this video, news video, is about a driver that slammed into a fucking bear on the highway. And it's crazy. It was in Atlanta. And I'm like, what? And then the overhead shot of all the forestry around there. Like, in my head, I'm thinking like concrete jungle. Oh no, there's a lot of.
Oh yeah, because I think they were north of Atlanta. Yeah, on the east side of Atlanta, there's a lot of woods. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of woods there. But yeah, we'll
play.
No, cars hit deer. But how about a bear? Well, one attacked a Henry County woman's car on I-75 heading south. It happened in North Georgia in Catoosa County, but we found out that this could happen really in other counties too. And it can happen right now. Channel 2's Candace McCowan live along 75 in Cobb County for us. Candace, this could have been deadly.
It definitely could have, George. Once you see the damage to this woman's car, Audrey Bowen is an Uber driver here in Metro Atlanta, and her last ride on Saturday night took her to North Georgia, and she was headed back down south on 75 here when she was stopped right in her tracks.
All I seen was something big coming down on the windshield, and then it made a loud noise. Boom. All the airbags came out, everything, and I slammed on the brakes.
29-year-old Aubrey Bowen didn't know what she hit around 9:30 Saturday night along I-75 in Catoosa County, but the collision brought her car to a stop.
There was nothing I could do. I couldn't see anything. It was real smoky in there.
Thankfully, a second driver stopped to help her out, and soon after, police arrived.
I was telling the officer, I don't know, I think it was a deer, because that's what's normal. He drove up a little bit, put his lights on, and he came back, and he was like, that was a bear. And I had to drag it out the highway. And he was like, everybody was running it over.
The officer took this picture of the bear. We don't hear about it often, but Georgia Department of Natural Resources said it happens, especially in Catoosa County, the prime habitat for black bears in Georgia. For Aubrey, she's left with a totaled car and unable to make a claim with Uber since she had just finished her last ride of the night. She also has a cut and a swollen knee. But for the single mom of two, she says this bear has changed the way she'll drive when she returns to the road.
So, like now, I definitely don't think I'm going to be driving in the evening, nighttime, just because of a wilderness, so what could come out.
You never know where a night might take you.
I think he probably jumped from the median onto the car.
Woo. Channel 2's Candace McCowan back with us live now along I-75. Candace, the crash with the bear, that caused another crash.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a man who stopped to help Audrey when she was on the side of the roadway there, and his car then got hit by a third car. Audrey now has a GoFundMe page. We're going to put it on WSBTV.com. She's trying to raise money to get back on the road. George?
And we are glad she wants to get back on the road. That is her livelihood. Candace, thank you.
Thanks, George.
Thank you.
George was something else.
Yes, indeed. Man, that would just freak you the hell out. I mean, a bear.
Yeah, I don't understand the question where like Uber's not like, so why not your personal insurance then? Like, why is there no coverage here? Something when she said that, I was like, well, if you just drop somebody off, I guess if the app was still on, you're in period 1, but I think is there no coverage in period 1?
That's when you're.
That's when you're on your personal insurance.
You're on your personal because you could be doing 2 apps. You know who's going to cover you.
So I'm wondering why she went to the news with it. Like you would think she would like just go to her regular car insurance and
who knows how they got a hold of the story.
Yeah, that's true. You never know, but that drone shot over her head, like all that greenery. I didn't even like. I was like, wow, like it makes sense. But
when you drive through from, we go through Atlanta on the way to Florida. I've been through it many times, and I mean, when you're in Atlanta, for sure, it's concrete jungle. But it takes maybe depending on traffic. If there's no traffic and going through at night, you can get through Atlanta in about 20 minutes or so, and both sides of it, you're back into the woods pretty quick.
Okay. Yeah. Miguel says she didn't have insurance or what? Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you weren't on Uber, you had regular insurance. Like, not that I would tell anyone to do this, but if you ever are, no, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
If you know,
That's right. There you go.
All
And these
right.
bears are getting, more prevalent. I know they see them in the counties, that border us. Last couple of years, there's sightings. There's one walking all over downtown Nashville last year. They were tracking it for like
I
a
remember
week.
that.
Yeah.
For a week it took them to get it?
No, they didn't. They never got him. They just left him alone. But they would like the news and stuff. They would collect sightings and kind of track where he was going and everything. But they
Okay.
never did anything about him. He wasn't. He never did bother
It
anybody.
was not causing any trouble.
No, he was just. They say a lot of times that when the younger males, when they get kind of kicked out of the den and stuff, they have to go find their own territory to rule. So they'll roam a little bit, and that's what they think he was probably doing.
He decided to go down Broadway.
Go down Broadway, man. He wanted
lot
to
of hot chicks.
see what all the fuss was about. Get him a drink or two,
sure.
and listen to some good music, and see what's up, man.
Yeah, Miguel says she went to the news for the GoFundMe, probably.
Yeah.
But again, maybe she had PLPD on it, and because they're not gonna. That's the thing, like. You don't have comprehension when PLPD, and you're only covered if someone hits you, you have to go after them, like I did with Avery, because the pilot was PLPD, and I had to go after him. So, where you going to go after the bear?
Yeah,
really. You're not gonna get nothing from them. So that's probably what happened. She had PLPD on it. So
yeah, probably.
Uber for Teens has reignited an old debate over fingerprinting drivers. So I thought this would be good to discuss. Not so much the Uber teen, but the fingerprinting.
Yeah, so if people remember, 7 years ago, Uber and Lyft kind of blocked an effort that would require their drivers to get fingerprinted in California.
Mm-hmm.
But Uber Teens that launched earlier this year is kind of bringing this issue back up because people are saying, hey, if you're going to be carrying kids, the company or the law in California says that if your business is involved primarily transporting minors, then you need to do fingerprinting. So, there is a company called Hop Skip Drive, which that is their whole business is driving kids. And so they think that Uber should have to follow the same rules they follow, but it's kind of up to interpretation because primarily transporting minors, that's not what Uber does. They're not primarily transporting minors. They may occasionally, but that's not primarily. So, but it is a good argument. Like, okay, just so that's not your primary job. So we should, let these other kids, the kids that do ride with Uber, let them be unsafe or be with unsafe people just because it's not their primary business. So they're trying to get the law changed, I believe.
I guess my question to you is to bring up the discussion. Do you have a problem with getting we don't maybe you do have a problem getting fingerprinting from Uber, but
I do not. We had to get fingerprinted when I worked for the city because we worked with software that the police department used to look up pretty sensitive stuff. So anybody who worked on that software or the servers that software was on, we had to get fingerprinted.
Yeah, I got fingerprinted for this school too. I don't have a problem with it. It just feels a little bit more invasive. Even if you literally don't have a charge, or you're never been in trouble with the law or whatever. It just seems like, well, now somebody's because if people that don't have those jobs or not got in trouble with the law, no one has their fingerprints. You know what I mean? So when you're doing it the first time, it's I'm kind of putting my shit into a database.
Yeah.
Saving that.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the thing I would say is, hey, it's an option. It's in the app if you want to do the Uber Teen or not. Don't let people turn it on unless they've been fingerprinted. But if you don't want to turn it on, you don't have to get fingerprinted.
Yeah, that's not a bad thought.
That seems kind of like a middle ground to me. If you want to be one of those people who take Uber Teens, and then you should, you can agree to get fingerprinted. But as long as it's an option, then I don't think everybody should have to be fingerprinted because that's a lot of time and money, especially if you're like, there's no way in hell I'm doing Uber Teen, so why do I need to be fingerprinted?
Yeah, I wonder if that was a requirement, fingerprinting, do you think that would reduce? I'm just looking at all the sexual assaults and the assaults and all that other stuff. Do you think that would reduce it? Do you think it would clean some of those people up?
Sure.
You think so?
I think it would. Some. I mean, I don't know what degree, but I think it would definitely clean up some.
Well, we talked about it today. One of our Telegram peeps posted something about an enhanced criminal report had been approved.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it seemed like, at least in Vegas, where she said she was it ran by county and federal, but what is fingerprinting doing more than what Checker is doing? Like it's because if Checker's checking federal and county,
Yeah.
What is fingerprinting you other than like you getting caught from a crime? Like it gets run through a database. You're like, oh, you're wanted in friggin',
Right.
Tennessee for rape.
Right. Well, the only other thing I can think of is I'm sure there's people who use fake documents to sign up for Uber.
Yeah.
And if you have fingerprint,
that's true.
That's not gonna fly.
That's true. I get it. It's a ton of money, but like I think wasn't it with rides in Minnesota? They like there was more stringent. I know there was a drug test.
Yeah,
I know
that
there
would
was
definitely knock out a bunch of people from
Yeah,
Uber
it would.
and Lyft.
Yeah, it would. I think you should test everything but marijuana because, like,
Yeah.
although if it's not, depending on the market, I don't think it's illegal in Minnesota, but
yeah,
but yeah, I would knock out a lot. But like, I don't know. I don't think they'll do it now. If they would have implemented it when they started, I think it would be different. People would be less fussy about it. But like,
for sure.
Saying, oh, by the way, you have to be fingerprinted now. I just don't think it moves the needle that much. But
yeah, we gotta get fingerprinted. Meanwhile, we're picking up, Puff Daddy Q here at the at the bar.
I know,
and
well, Traveler says criminals can pass Checker. Like, how do you figure? Like, that was my question. How Checker, like you say, Checker sucks. Like, what are they doing different than what a fingerprint would do? I guess.
Right.
Other than, like I said, your fingerprint came up at a crime in another state and they don't know who you are. And then all of a sudden, oh shit, Jason's fingerprint came up. He can't drive. He's wanted in fucking, Tennessee or something. But I don't know. I guess I don't understand the process of Checker compared to like fingerprinting.
Yeah. It may add another layer, I think.
Yeah, but like I said, Traveler says, well, Checker sucks. I'm like, okay, what's not good about them though? He says not good background checks. Like, what does that mean? Like, are they just not checking?
They found all my stuff I did. So.
What's that?
They found all the stuff I did.
Well, I know. I'm just curious. What's different
what does it
from
mean?
What's different from the school that ran a background check to Checker to fingerprinting? Again, these are all just, some of it's rhetorical just because I don't fucking know. I'm clueless on that. And I don't know if I want to dive into that, to be honest with you. Like if somebody tells me in the chat what it is, I'll probably believe them. Yeah. Moving on, Amazon. This is the first time I've seen this. Amazon Flex gig economy workers to be employees in Wisconsin. So I'm not going to read through this whole thing because it's very like courtish, like very, it's very wordy. But basically, there's a ongoing legal battle between the governor's administration and Amazon, focused on whether delivery drivers in the tech giant's logistics division are considered Amazon employees or independent contractors. So it's kind of the same thing as Uber and Lyft. And this is a version of debate occurring nationally, with the ultimate outcome shaping everything from taxes to whether workers can unionize. In Wisconsin, observers believed the Amazon case could shape how the state Department of Workforce Development approaches other services like Uber and Instacart and DoorDash that everyone uses in Wisconsin. So it's interesting that like it's Flex that's the one that is kind of coming up. But it says a lower court ruling found using a complicated test, I don't know what that means, that drivers do in fact work for Amazon, saddling the company with a tax bill of more than $200,000.
Okay, so which is like 200,000 is like a penny to me and you. For Amazon. I mean, how much money they make? That's that's a ridiculously low amount of money for them.
Yeah, it says the Wisconsin Supreme Court declined to undo that ruling, instead issuing a unanimous ruling that it should not have taken up the case in the first place, deeming it had to be, I don't know how to say that. I don't know. It's a legal thing. That's a word that I don't know. But
unanimous? Where are we at?
No, it says I don't know, like the fourth or fifth. It says IMPROVID.
Improvidently.
Okay, what does that mean?
I don't know, but I can pronounce it, but I don't know what it means.
You're one step ahead.
I will find it. I will find out what it means. Improvident means not showing foresight.
Oh,
thoughtless.
Yeah, so that was a bullshit thing to bring to the Supreme Court, I guess. So here we go again. Like I don't want this. I mean, I feel like it's a money grab by the state to try to get money, to get the tax money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just feel like, can we come to a middle ground, like somewhere? I mean, which a lot of the states are, and I just think that just is setting precedent through all the other states. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the more we see it happen, the more incentive it gives the other places to put the same thing into effect. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, it's something we're going to see, I think, cascading,
Yep.
across the country in different places. The big markets first, I'm sure, and then trickling down.
Yeah, I would guess Uber, when they started, they maybe not in the first year or two, but they're like, you know what? We're gonna have some problems in the
Oh,
future.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
government's gonna want their piece. They're gonna want, people are gonna get fussy about it and stuff. I heard somebody talking about like companies like this kind of ebb and flow as far as like they focus on the customers and then they focus on the employees. I'm like, well,
Right.
when is it gonna shift back to the employees or us drivers? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because it feels like we're just getting less and less money.
Yeah, it seems like the pendulums have been on the other side for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully they get their shit together. So,
Yep.
well, you know what? We got some time. Let's talk about Gary. Usually we don't even get this far. Gary
right.
Middleton, Flex Alert, Maximo, and Driver Utility Helper. I use Flex Alert all the time. I don't know how you do Flex without it, because I was talking to some people at the bus barn today and they're like, oh, we're interested in Flex. I'm like, are you interested in looking at your phone for 2 to 3 hours before you get that route? So like, yeah, my route is like only 3 hours, but you're going to spend time looking at your phone. But anyways, what this does is it auto taps for you, does not break terms of service because it does not grab the route for you. You're still responsible for tapping the screen. Maximo is Grubhub and Uber and Lyft. It can filter all the rides out and stuff like that you don't want, all the trash, distance, anything to your little heart's desire. You can make that thing. And then Driver Utility Helper, same thing for DoorDash. So check it out. Link is in the description. Gary's a good guy, does a lot of good work. So
Definitely.
I thought that was kind of just, let's bring around a little bit of tax talk. I mean, I see that from time to time. It's not time to do taxes, but I thought it was something we should talk about.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's something, because you're always having new drivers come on and they don't know what they're supposed to do and not do. So, just a reminder, just because you're doing gig work and they're not taking any taxes out doesn't mean you don't have to pay taxes.
Right.
So, this just talks about, most gig workers are sole proprietors and they report their income on Form 1040. But gig workers also file a Schedule C, which shows the profit and loss from their gig work. Most states, there's about, 8 or 10 that don't require you to do it, income taxes. But in all the other states, you also need to file and pay state income taxes on your income. But, almost everything that we spend to do our work is deductible as a business expense, and that helps reduce the figure. The big one being mileage. If you're doing any kind of work, make sure and track your mileage.
So
Go ahead.
Sorry, I fucking interrupted you. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead, man.
What is your tax burden for gig work? I mean, because you obviously have another job too. So, but it can tell you like what your burden was for tax, because like I'd be curious with the amount of miles you drive.
Let me look that up. Well,
while you're looking that up, so
Yeah.
I noticed when the year that that Spark came out, and I did like a whole 6-8 months of just Spark, I realized that I had ended up having to pay more taxes, because guess what, my when I was getting my deliveries, it was like 5 miles. You know what I mean? I wasn't driving these long.
Oh yeah.
When you're doing Uber and Uber and like Amazon Flex are the most mileage things, and you didn't have to worry about it. The mileage would be eaten up. But I got to the point where I was paying quarterlies.
Now, see, I've never done that.
No.
I never have.
So my accountant says, like, you've paid for the 3 years in a row. The IRS is going to start getting a little fussy about that. You better start doing quarterlies. That's what he told me. Whether we're going to get fussy about that or not, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not ever done the quarterly thing.
But have you ever had to pay?
Ever had to pay taxes on my?
Well, at the end of the year, when you're like, Or do you always get money back?
We for the last several years we've gotten money back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to do quarterlies if you're getting money back. It's when you go year after year of
When you
paying.
pay?
Like I had
Okay.
one year I had $2,000 bill. The next year I had $1,800, and then he was like, "All right, we better start doing quarterlies."
Yeah, gotcha.
Not that I couldn't pay it. It was just he said something about the IRS starts getting fussy because you're basically they want their money so they can do with what they want with it. You're not giving it to them, but the quarterlies give it to them. Now I don't know how much that means or not.
Yeah, and most of us have been doing it a while. We buy enough stuff and we know how to deduct our miles and the other things that we don't show a lot of profit from our gig
No,
work.
you don't want to.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. Do you remember how much profit you showed last year, or if you did show profit?
I have no idea. Like he does it, and I just like, all right, what's the
what's the total?
Yeah.
Do I have to pay, or do I get back?
For me, the last couple of years, I had the car, and then I've had solar, so I really have gotten a pretty sizable tax return back.
There you go. Yeah.
In fact, the year that I did solar, I was paying quarterlies that whole year, so I got all those quarterlies back in my refund too. You know what I mean? So
yeah, very
sweet. Did you
sweet.
find that number or not?
I did. I think it showed a net income of like $4,000.
Okay. So not much taxes on that.
Not much tax on that for sure. Yeah, they talk about if you can deduct like car expenses, part of your phone bill that you use, parking, toll payments, interest on car loans, supplies.
See, my accountant said unless you have a separate phone for gig work, you should. Well, I do too, but I'm saying like part of your phone bill. So basically saying if you have just one phone, you should be able to take a percentage out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I would think you would be able to. You should. I mean, it's like you do so many other things, like how a percentage of your car or amount of time are you using your car for business or office space or something. But I'd depend on our accountant. I trust what he says.
Well, here's the thing. Like he told me not to do it.
Yeah.
Like that partial stuff and all that stuff, because it just puts up some red flags with the IRS, and you have more likelihood to get audited. Whether that's true or not, maybe he's a terrible accountant. I should be doing
well.
that.
And if you look at it, if you really add those up and see how much, what kind of effect would that have? If I did, it's negligible.
Right.
It really is negligible. So if it's not going to draw attention to you, if it's going to draw attention to you, why bother with it?
Yeah, I think that's his attitude.
Exactly. You don't want the Gestapo after you, because then they will take your shit.
Right. Yeah. You think
I'm watching and your butts.
I'm rewatching Breaking Bad, and there was a scene with what the fuck's the name? The lawyer.
Saul.
Saul, and he's like, you think that you think the DEA is bad? You don't want the fucking or something, like you don't want the IRS, because you will go to prison. Like they will
take your stuff.
They will take your stuff. You get in trouble for tax evasion. They do not care. Miguel, who's your accountant? Sam? No, my accountant is not Sam. Sam did help me out because my accountant made a slight mistake because I fucked up, and then he had to file it paperwork wise, and something didn't get sent in the paperwork, and I was owed like $3,000. It took me about 3 or 4 months, but Sam helped me get it. But no, she's not my accountant. I don't think she does anything personally. She just works for a company. So but she helped me out, so I took her out to dinner or to lunch. So we're eating.
Yeah, and so just kind of back to the tax stuff. They pose a question in here. How would the IRS know if somebody's doing good work? Well, when you sign up on any of the platforms, you have to. They provide a W-9 form, and if you don't fill it out, then the platform holds back 28% of your pay for the IRS.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
What?
Yeah. So
interesting.
So it says far better to file and pay the IRS directly. And it says here, workers who will owe at least $1,000 in taxes must make quarterly payments. So that's what we're talking about. If you're going to owe $1,000 or more.
Okay. So maybe he was right, because I was owing more, and he was like, yeah, you better start making quarterlies. So I didn't know they would take 28% out and then send it to the IRS.
I didn't either.
I mean, it's good. I mean, let's look at it this way.
Yeah.
At least it's good, because then you're not getting in trouble, right? But you're
Mhm.
paying way too many taxes, and DoorDash isn't going to get in trouble. No one's getting in
Right.
trouble, but you're just taking it, in the
Yeah, you're
keister.
getting an interest-free loan.
Yeah, basically, for
Yeah.
sure. So
So, again, there's lots of stuff that you can do, but our biggest advice for anybody doing gig work, make sure you record your mileage, because you
Oh.
see it all the time at tax time. People are like, hey, I don't know how to do my taxes. And they're like, well, your mileage, have your mileage. Like, I don't know how much I drove.
Oh
Like,
my.
well, you just,
I mean,
you just shafted yourself big
well,
time.
in my head, I don't know when I found that, like, before gig work, did I know that you get to write? I don't know. I just knew that you, like, I don't know. It's one of those things I
Yeah.
just knew, but it's always surprising to me that people don't know that you write your mileage. And then one question that comes
Mhm.
up a lot, and maybe you can chime in on this too.
Yeah.
I track from when I leave my house
Yeah.
till I go to the warehouse. So, like, it's basically from door to door. That's
Yeah,
what
see, I used to worry about that a lot, and I wouldn't turn it on until I actually got to where I was starting work. But yeah, I see enough people talk about it. No, now I turn it on when I leave the house, and pretty much
Yeah.
turn it off when I get home.
Yeah, that's what I do. I do door to door because, I mean, yeah, do you get, you're driving to work, but
Mhm.
you're an independent contractor. So,
And
like,
my app's on when I leave the house.
well, see, my app's not on.
Oh, see, mine's on.
Well, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter if it's
yeah,
on. What's the IRS going to do on Tuesday, July
yeah,
14 from 4 to 4:30? Was your app on when you drove to the
exactly. Yeah, ease up, man. Your app was not on, but you were tracking mileage. You're
Yeah,
going to
that's
jail.
it. You're gonna have to pay 4 cents for that half hour.
But I do turn my apps off, and when I'm coming home at the end of the night, and but
And you
still
still
tracking
track
my
it.
mileage.
Yeah, for sure. So
Nope.
that being said, the number one thing is track your mileage. If you
Yeah.
don't deduct anything else, it's totally fine. All that other stuff, like Larry said, is negligible. The mileage is not.
Yeah.
It's
And,
gonna
and
save
no,
you.
that's the big mammy jammy. And our just want to say we are not tax professionals. We
Thank
don't
you.
pretend to be. Make
Nope.
sure you get a good accountant who's familiar with gig work, because some of these people do not know anything about gig work. Although
Yeah.
I think that'd be hard to find these days with as much gig work as going on out there. But
I don't
yeah, you
know
want to find a good one.
when I first started with this accountant and I handed him my gig paperwork, he's like, why are
Yeah.
they saying that you made 10 grand and then all these fees? He's like, this is stupid. I was like,
I
welcome to
agree.
I
That's
agree.
how they do it. And
Yep.
so
But this is how they do it. So figure it out so I don't get fucked.
and people freak the hell out when they
Oh,
get
yeah.
the first year. They're like, "What? I didn't make that much money."
Yeah.
You
It's
got to
so
take out their fees. They show how much, how much money came in, what the customer paid.
yeah,
Then
which
then they minus out what Uber and Lyft took, which is
but
most
see,
of
that's
it.
the stupid part. We didn't actually get that money,
Right.
and that's
I
why
know.
it's fucked up. That's why that
No, I
frustrates.
agree 100%. Yeah, the way they do that, there's no reason that I can think of that it should show on us what Uber collected,
Yeah,
because we had no part of that. We never
right.
see it. We never touch it. We don't get to spend it. Nothing.
So Miguel says when you're renting cars, you don't deduct the miles, but you get to deduct the rental, right? I don't know if that helps. I mean, if you're renting it, it's $300 a week. I mean, I would assume you get to deduct some of that, right?
Yeah, I would think it'd be a cost of doing business.
Or do you get to deduct the fuel or the
Yeah,
charging or anything like that?
if you keep receipts.
Yeah, if you're renting it.
But then, yeah, you'd have to do it the whole year, one way or the other. Though you can't do, okay, from
Oh, that's true.
these 3 months, I was renting a car, so I can do that. You have to go one or the other.
That's a good point. You can't be flip-flopping
No,
throughout the
can't be
year.
flip-flopping. So
Ooh.
you got to choose one or the other.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad we brought that up. It's a good conversation to have with the taxes, even though it's not tax time. Just get your shit together, start tracking your mileage.
Definitely.
Even if you gotta, again, we're not tax professionals. Don't, this is, even if you gotta bullshit it a little bit, just get it in the ballpark, or at least take what DoorDash gives you and add 20% or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And remember, everybody, it's last few hours of Amazon Prime Day. If you don't have a dash cam, it's a good time to go get
Oh
one.
yeah.
Go get a dash cam.
Yeah.
And then you can record when you hit a bear or a deer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that lady could have gone viral with that, hitting that bear. Is today the last day? Is it only 2 days?
It was yesterday and today. Even though they call it Prime Day, it's 2 days.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I know Amazon been slow the last couple days. It'll pick up on the weekend. So.
Oh yeah, everybody's buying all the crap the last yesterday and today. For
Yep.
sure.
So, all right, guys, thanks so much for listening. Next week, Mr. Jason will be gone. Mr. Larry and Mr. Gabe will be running the show.
What? When were you going to tell me about this? Oh, no,
I told you, Larry.
I don't have my
play
notes.
into it. I was going to play into it.
I don't have it in my notes, so it doesn't mean anything.
So yeah, it's going to be these two next week, and they'll do a great job. We did a little training tonight, so
yeah, we're gonna rock the house next week.
Make sure you're nice to them. Don't yell at them.
Yeah.
And as always, don't put up with anyone's bullshit.
And we will see you on the road.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.